Hey guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and I'm out for a drive in the 2020 BMW M340i XDrive. Right now it's about 42 degrees. I'm testing the grip of all-season run flats. So as I said, XDrive, so this M340 does have all-wheel drive. I'm used to driving the Porsche 911 on these roads, so this is the first time driving with this car. Figured I'd give you an update on this car. Maybe we can talk while we're driving. So I'm driving in Sport Plus mode, in manual mode. Remember, it's an 8-speed torque converter automatic. It shifts very well in sport comfort mode. You know, the paddle shifters are certainly not as good as a dual clutch transmission would be. It'll do a pretty good imitation of a dual clutch, but it doesn't really, if you've driven a good dual clutch like Porsche or McLaren or even BMW, it doesn't, when I say BMW, I mean on the, say, F80 M3, for example, it doesn't shift like that, unfortunately. So we'll go up to the gears. Here we're going up to 6th. You barely felt that shift there, right? We can go up to 7th, up to 8th. Now those are overdrive gears, of course. If we want to downshift here, listen, 7, 6, obviously it'll rev match automatically. There's not much rev matching to do there. 5th, 4th, there you feel it. And with this turbocharged motor, acceleration is really effortless. Ride quality is a little bumpier. These all seasons are run flat tires, so they kind of are hard as a rock. And it makes the ride a lot more bumpier than if you just did summers and winters on this car. All right, so let's do a little acceleration here. Rolling start. Wow, so this car is really, really fast. So I'm driving in Sport Plus now, but I'm letting the car do the shifting. So it's fun going through the manual shifters. One problem is on the dash, it's a very small area that actually tells you what gear you're in. So if I go in a manual mode now, it's not on my heads-up display. I kind of have to look down. Whoops, dear. I have to look down to see what gear I'm in. Sometimes I forget. So it's not like a manual transmission where I actually did the shift, even though I am pressing the paddles. It's not as easy as a true manual to know what gear I'm in. So I'm trying Sport Plus now. We'll go on one of my favorite roads. So the bumpiness you see here, these roads are pretty smooth. The bumpiness you see here is really from the, we're getting behind a slow car. I can't win. It's really from these run flat tires, which I absolutely hate. So that's probably one of the few downsides of this car, is could be more like an M car, certainly. And it's more 3 Series. It's more of a fast 330 than it is, let me block the sun here, than it is, let's say, an M car. Now what happens, you get people on these roads that go so very slow. All right, let's try to take some turns here. Now even in Sport Plus mode, there's some body roll. The brakes are not the best. Again, they're more 3 Series than M car. We got a ton of power, and we got a ton of power rocketing out of the corners due to this all-wheel drive. So what do we like? Power. We like the way it puts power to the ground. We certainly could use, it's only 37 degrees right now, so summer tires would probably be useless at this point. So we really got power everywhere. This will be ice. Probably was ice a few hours ago. The handling is pretty good. This is a really, 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 really tight road. And on this road, everything wrong with the car will happen. So if it doesn't have front end grip, doesn't have rear grip, we're gonna get, if we get a lot of understeer. So this is where I kind of like to test my car. So you do kind of have to think ahead a little bit. You have a ton of power, you have great handling, but you will get some body roll, and you are limited by these all-season tires. I would love to drive this car with sticky summer tires, and I think it would be an entirely different driving experience. So we caught up to some traffic, so I'm going to give it a little break here, and we'll be right back. All right, so we got a little run here again. We're back, and let's try it again. I'm going to leave. I think it honestly shifts better with the, sad to say. My pet peeve is if it's not a manual, at least use the paddle shifters. But this car, I'm going to say, shifts better with the paddle shifters. It downshifts at the right time. It keeps you in gear. It keeps you in the power. It keeps you in the turbos. All right, so as soon as we can see here again, we'll get going. Yep. So you got to do a lot of trail braking to turn it in. The turn in isn't as sharp as I'd like it to be. Some more body roll than I'd like. And see how it's holding me in gear? You see that? You can hear it. No power, no problem with power at all. No problem with putting the power down. Don't know if these brakes are going to be up to task. Like, I don't know if I would trust these brakes on a track day. I mean, you definitely notice the difference between, say, my 1 Series M and this car. You definitely notice the difference between my 911 and this car. But it's definitely a level above my Audi S8 for sure. All right, we'll take a little, we'll be back in a second with a little gap. All right, so another gap in traffic. Again, I'm liking the automatic shifting itself. I hate to say that because I'm like to do everything myself, but I could see this automatic keeping us in the right gear even as we slow down to get in the gap of traffic. It is downshifting to keep me in the power. I like it a lot. Now, of course, my first choice would be a manual. If I had a way to get this car in manual, 1000%, I would get the manual transmission. If I was buying the new M3, I would get the manual transmission. So this car is a great car. It's more of a daily driver, certainly, than a track car. Duh. I mean, it's supposed to be. I think they left something on the table with this car, and the M3 is going to take that spot. So if you want next level on this car, you take the M3. If you want next level over the 330, then you take this car. A ton of power, passing power in the highway, really incredible passing power, fun to drive. This car makes, 90 feel like 60. It really does. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You should find yourself going so much faster than you should be going. All right, so let's go here. Now watch, you'll see some more acceleration here as we go onto the left lane of the highway, and you'll see how fast this car really is. Wow. You cannot believe how fast this car is. I know BMW claims about 4.1 seconds for the all-wheel drive. I know a lot of you have gotten about 3.8 seconds, and by the seat of the pants, that's what it feels like to me. See how it downshifted for us, so I'm in plenty of power. Now, when we're not on such tight roads, there's very little body roll. Now the handling feels great. Those were really tight roads. And that's why I like to take them on those roads for that reason. See now here, just put your foot down. You can pass anybody. Got a ton of power, 60 to 100. Very fast, 0 to 60. Handling, drive all day comfort. These seats are great. This interior is great. Really the perfect car in the real world. I wouldn't take it to the racetrack. Really, really tight roads. You're better off with a more focused sports car. But if the M3 is out of your budget or you want a little more comfort, the M340i XDrive is a great car. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.
Nobody